Okay.
One more time.
Oh, good Lord.
One more time, and then it's Bella's turn. Okay, it's Bella's turn now.
What are they doing up here?
I don't want to up here.
They're floating in the water. Like it feels like they're floating in space.
Oh.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
No gravity. You float?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready for the test?
Yeah.
You don't pass?
No.
Okay. You're honest.
Do the test.
Yeah. Alright. So what happens in... I know. So what happens in space?
I know.
Do you float?
It's funny.
Do you float or do you sink?
Sink.
Do you float or do you sink?
Float.
Good job. So when you crash in a space shuttle, do you go down a slide or do you jump out?
Jump out.
You go down a slide or do you jump out?
Jump out.
Oh, you didn't get that. You got down a slide.
That was right.
Yes. So when the astronauts are getting very fit, do they lift weights or do they eat McDonald's?
Donald.
Do they lift weights or eat McDonald's?
Donald.
Okay, you got 1 out of 3 so far. You're doing too well. So when
If you believe every victim deserves to be remembered and every truth deserves to be told, subscribe to The Crime Narrator. These stories live on because you're here to hear them.
From the outside, he looked like the definition of a devoted father. In photos and videos shared online, Chris Watts appeared soft-spoken, calm, and present. He held his daughters in his arms. He smiled during birthday celebrations. He stood beside his pregnant wife as they announced baby number 3. To neighbors and coworkers, he seemed quiet but polite, the kind of man who kept to himself and went to work every day without complaint.
we did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
Really.
That's awesome. So pink means...
That's just the test.
I know. It just says the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome.
Nothing about him screamed danger. In fact, many described him as easygoing, a hands-on dad, the type who changed diapers, played dress-up, and tucked his children into bed. In a world where people often expect villains to look like villains, Chris Watts didn't fit the script. That's what made everything so unsettling later. Behind the curated social media posts and cheerful family updates, cracks were forming. Financial pressure, emotional distance, private frustrations. While Shannon appeared vibrant and expressive online, Chris seemed more reserved, almost withdrawn in hindsight. But no one publicly questioned him. No one imagined that beneath the quiet exterior, something darker was building. The truth about this case isn't just about the crime itself. It's about perception. It's about how easily we can mistake silence for stability, how we confuse calmness with kindness. Everyone thought he was the perfect dad, and that belief would soon collide with a reality no one saw coming. If you're following this series, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for the next chapter as we uncover what was really happening behind closed doors. At first, the changes were almost invisible. Friends later recalled that Chris seemed quieter than usual, not angry, not explosive, just distant. He had started focusing more on himself, working out intensely, changing his appearance, updating his wardrobe. On the surface, self-improvement doesn't raise alarms. People reinvent themselves all the time. But in hindsight, those shifts told a deeper story. At home, the atmosphere was changing. Shannon was outspoken and expressive about her life online, often sharing both joyful and stressful moments. She spoke openly about financial strain and the pressures of maintaining stability. Meanwhile, Chris appeared increasingly detached in videos, smiling, but not quite present. Behind closed doors, communication was breaking down. What many didn't realize at the time was that emotional withdrawal can be louder than shouting. It can signal resentment, secrecy, or internal conflict. Instead of arguments that neighbors could overhear, there was silence. And silence can be far more dangerous. Coworkers would later describe him as calm, steady, even helpful. Nothing in his demeanor hinted at the storm brewing beneath the surface. That contrast between the man people thought they knew and the man he was becoming is what makes this case so chilling. The perfect dad image was still intact. Family photos continued. Public appearances continued. Life from the outside looked normal. But subtle shifts were happening. Small choices, hidden conversations, a growing emotional divide that no one fully understood until it was too late.
Hang on, guys.
Ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Here comes Peter. He's gonna get on too. Get on, Peter.
Mommy.
Coral, sit up, honey. Your cornet.
She's pushing on my head. She's pushing on my head the entire time.
That's worn out, Bella.
She's pushing on my head. She's pushing me back down.
He's getting tired.
Yeah, that's getting kind of horrible.
One more time.
This is the one time they actually stay on there. And Whew, very set.
Yeah,
Hang on, guys.
And as the distance grew, so did the gap between perception and reality. By the summer of 2018, the distance between appearance and reality had grown wider than ever. Shannon was away for several weeks visiting family with the children. From the outside, it looked like a normal trip, a chance to reconnect, to relax, to reset. But during that time apart, something shifted in Chris. Separation can sometimes bring clarity. Other times, it exposes what someone has already decided in silence. When Shannon returned home, she reportedly sensed that something was wrong. The affection felt forced. The warmth was gone. Conversations that once flowed now stalled. He seemed emotionally checked out, present in body, absent in spirit. She confided in friends that he felt distant, colder, different. Meanwhile, Chris maintained a calm exterior. No public outbursts, no dramatic scenes, just quiet detachment. And that quietness, once mistaken for stability, now felt like a wall. The tension built quietly in the days leading up to the tragedy. There were conversations about their marriage, questions about feelings, uncertainty about the future. But from the outside, Neighbors still saw normal routines, garage doors opening, cars coming and going, lights turning off at night. No one could hear the internal collapse happening inside that home. Looking back, many wonder, was there a single moment when everything crossed the line? Or was it a gradual unraveling, a series of decisions made in isolation? The most unsettling part of this case isn't just what happened. It's how ordinary everything looked right up until it didn't. In the next chapter, we'll examine the final hours before everything changed forever. It was late when Shannon returned home. After a delayed flight and a long trip back, she walked through the front door in the early hours of the morning. The house was quiet. The girls were asleep. Chris was there.
And then I met Chris. My health challenges happened. I was diagnosed with some health challenges, and then I met Chris. I met Chris because of those health challenges. My friend sent me a friend suggestion for him. It was actually his cousin's wife, and I deleted it. I was like, I'm not interested. I don't want to meet a guy. Bye-bye. So I deleted her friend's suggestion for him. I was diagnosed 2 months later, and I went through one of the, I would say, darkest times of my life because things just got scarier, worse. I thought my life was crumbling underneath me, and I didn't know which way to turn. I didn't have a lot of friends at the time because a lot of my friends, the friends I did have, I lost because they didn't understand that I looked perfectly fine, and I felt horribly inside. Horribly. I felt a lot of discomforts, a lot of aches, a lot of bad moods. I met a lot of friends online, and in the part where I gave up on everything, I quit my job. It was kind of temporarily, but kind of quit my job of 9 years. I just said, I'm done.
To the outside world, it was just another night. But inside that home, something irreversible was about to unfold. Investigators would later piece together the timeline through digital data, phone records, and security footage. What stands out most is how ordinary the beginning seemed. No alarms, no signs of chaos spilling into the street, just a suburban home in the dark. In the hours that followed, everything changed. By morning, Shannon and the children were gone. At first, the situation was presented as a missing persons case. Chris appeared on camera speaking softly, asking for their safe return. He looked worried, calm, pleading. To many watching the news, he still seemed like the concerned husband and father. But something felt off. Body language experts would later analyze those interviews frame by frame. The lack of visible panic, the measured tone, the unusual composure. People began to question what they were seeing. Behind the scenes, investigators were already noticing inconsistencies. Timelines didn't align, statements shifted, small details didn't add up. What began as a desperate search quickly turned into something far darker. The image of the perfect dad was starting to crack, not through anger or rage, but through subtle contradictions and growing suspicion. And within days, the truth would surface in a way no one could ignore. In Chapter 5, we'll look at the interrogation that changed the course of the case. By the time Chris Watts sat down in the interrogation room, the pressure was mounting. Investigators had already begun noticing the gaps. Surveillance footage from a neighbor's security camera showed Chris loading his truck early that morning, something he initially described as routine. But as detectives watched his reaction to the footage, they observed subtle signs of nervousness. He shifted his weight, he avoided eye contact, his confidence wavered. Still, he maintained his story. Hours passed, questions repeated, details were revisited. The calm demeanor he had shown in media interviews began to crack under sustained scrutiny. Detectives gently pointed out inconsistencies. Timelines were revisited again and again. Then came the polygraph. Chris agreed to take it. When the results indicated deception, the atmosphere in the room shifted. The investigators didn't shout. They didn't threaten. They simply gave him space, and silence can be powerful. Eventually, the narrative began to change. First, partial admissions, then shifting explanations. The story no longer aligned with physical evidence. Detectives continued pressing, carefully dismantling each version as it unfolded.
Chris, help us work through this with you, okay? Will you tell us what you told your dad?
After that conversation,
Water,
no, you're fine.
yeah.
After that conversation we had, and she accused me of the affair, she, in her heart, she knew what was going on. And she knew about the dinner the other night. It was too much for just me.
She knew about what now?
When I told her I went to a Rockies game, I went out to bed. I went downstairs.
And that's when you told her about your separation?
Well, that was when I was upstairs in bed.
Uh-huh.
Told her, what I wanted, and I wanted a separation. And that's what I want.
What happened after that?
I went downstairs.
What shocked many observers later was not just the confession, but how composed he had appeared before it. For days, he stood before cameras asking for his family to come home. In the interrogation room, that image unraveled piece by piece. The perfect dad persona was gone. In its place was a man confronted with evidence he could no longer deny.
Bella and Celeste.
How do you spell it? Celeste?
Celeste.
How old are your daughters?
Bella's 4, Celeste is 3.
And so, how many times did you try calling her?
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say, what's going on. Like because after I called her and texted her once, it's like maybe she was just busy. Like she had just gotten back. Like everybody's probably calling her from her trip. She just got back from Arizona, and I figured she was just busy. But when her friend showed up, that's what it was like. It registered like, all right, this isn't right.
Do you think she just took off? Do you think?
I mean, right now I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. But I mean, could she just taken off? I don't know. But if somebody has her and they're not safe, like I want them back now. Like that's what's in my head. Like if they're safe right now, they're gonna come back. But if they're not safe right now, that's the not knowing part. Like if they're not safe, last night I had every light in the house on. I was hoping that I would just ran over by the kids running in the door and just like barrel rushing me, but it didn't happen. And it was just a traumatic night trying to be here.
I'm gonna ask some kind of tough questions about your relationship with your kids.
My kids are my life. I mean, those smiles.
By the end of that session, the case had transformed from a missing persons investigation into one of the most disturbing family tragedies in recent history. When the confession became public, shock turned into disbelief. For days, people had watched Chris Watts on television, pleading for the safe return of his wife and children. Now, the truth was unfolding in court documents and official statements. The man many believed to be a grieving husband was instead at the center of the crime. The reaction was immediate and intense. Neighbors who once described him as quiet and polite struggled to reconcile the image they had with the reality being revealed. Coworkers replayed past conversations in their minds. Friends searched for missed warning signs. How could someone appear so ordinary, so calm?
What's going through your mind right now?
I don't know where my kids are. I don't know where Shanann is. It's not something I could ever fathom would happen in my lifetime, and I have no inclination of where she is. We've reached out to friends, family. Both of our families are back in North Carolina, so they're beside themselves. Like, we all have friends in North Carolina. We have friends here. We have friends everywhere, and not knowing like where she is or where the kids are, I don't know what to do right now. I just feel so alone in this house right now, and I don't know where to go from here right now.
And you said you had to stay here by yourself last night. When I opened the door, it's like you're almost like.
I mean, my heart's racing a mile a minute. I mean, just everything that's happening the last few days. It's earth shattering right now. It's like my world's been turned upside down. It's like I have friends that have offered to I didn't feel like I should have left last night, like just in case, like maybe she came back, maybe the kids came back, maybe something happened, maybe there's a knock on the door. I wanted to be here. I didn't think last night was a good time to stay with anybody else, or, I mean, I want friends to be here with me because that just makes me feel better.
And how do you think the police have responded so far?
It's been amazing. They've been in constant contact. Frederick Police Department, detectives, officers, sergeants. They have the dogs coming through to get scents. I mean, they've been on top of everything. Missing persons reports. They've been.
Do you have any idea where she could be?
She said she was going to her friend's house with the kids, and that's the last thing I heard. And that was it. It was very vague, and it was very. I don't have no inclination of where she is. Every friend that I've called that has a car seat that could have come and got her.
And you saw her yesterday morning?
Yeah, I saw her yesterday morning. She got back from the airport, and I mean, she has to be somewhere. In my heart, I believe that she is somewhere, and I hope that she is safe.
Search dog go in your house right now to get a scent. A line of police cars.
I'm so happy that they're here right now doing everything that they can. It scares the living crap out of me right now, just knowing that it's come to this and that she didn't come home last night with the kids. Like, Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, if you're out there, please, just come home.
And you, yesterday, when her friends were calling frantic, something in you said, well, she'll just be home.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like her not to answer a phone call or a text. And when her friend Nicole showed up at the door, I was just like, all right, something's up. And I came home, and it was like I walked into a ghost town. Like, everything, she wasn't here, kids weren't here. It was just, they were here, and then they were gone.
Yeah. And did you see the kids in the morning, too?
Just in the monitor.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you leave really early.
Mm-hmm.
While hiding something so devastating. In the courtroom, the details were difficult to hear. The finality of it all settled heavily over everyone involved. There would be no trial in the traditional sense. Chris Watts entered guilty pleas, bringing a swift legal conclusion but leaving emotional wounds that would never fully close. For Shannon's family, the grief was unimaginable.
Shannon, Bella, and Nico are loving, caring people. They love life. They love being around people who love them. They always had good times. This is the first time they went to the beach this year, and they loved it. But God only knows what happened that night. Life will never be the same without Shannon, Bella, and Celeste, and Nico. Had all their lives to live. They were taken by a heartless one. This is the heartless one, the evil monster, who dare you take the lives of my daughters Shannon, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. I trusted you to take care of them, not kill them. And they also trusted you. The heartless monster, and then you take them out like trash. You disgust me. They were loving and caring people. You may have taken their bodies from me, but you will never take the love they had from me. They loved us more than you will ever know, because you don't know what love is.
For Chris's family, there was also shock and heartbreak, though experienced differently. Two families forever connected by tragedy. The public, too, was left unsettled. This case forced people to confront an uncomfortable truth. Evil does not always look obvious. Sometimes it looks like the quiet neighbor next door, the helpful coworker, the smiling father in family photos. The perfect dad image had completely shattered. But even as the legal chapter closed, questions lingered. Not about guilt, that was established, but about motive, mindset, and the slow unraveling that led to such a devastating outcome. In the end, what makes this case so haunting isn't just the crime, it's the illusion that came before it. For years, Chris Watts blended into ordinary life. He went to work. He smiled in family photos. He played with his daughters. Nothing about him outwardly matched the horror that would later be revealed. That disconnect between appearance and reality is what continues to disturb people today. Everyone thought he was a perfect dad. But perfection was only a surface image. Looking back, experts often point to emotional withdrawal, secrecy, and avoidance as warning signs that are easy to miss in real time. There were no explosive public scenes, no dramatic warning sirens, just subtle shifts, distance, detachment, silence. The truth is, many tragedies don't announce themselves loudly. They develop quietly, beneath routines and responsibilities, hidden behind normalcy. This case forced people everywhere to reconsider how well we truly know those around us.
A maximum sentence would be appropriate, and anything less than the maximum sentence would depreciate the seriousness of this offense. So the court is going to sentence Mr. Watts as follows. With regard to count number 1, murder in the first degree as it relates to Shanann Watts, the court is going to sentence you, sir, to a life sentence in the Colorado Department of Corrections, followed with no possibility of parole. And that is going to run consecutively to all but counts 3 and 4. With regard to count 2, as it relates to murder in the first degree with Bella, the court is going to sentence you to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility of parole. With regard to count number 3, the court is going to sentence you as it relates to Celeste to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility of parole.
It reminded us that social media snapshots don't always reflect private realities, that calm behavior does not automatically equal inner peace, and that unresolved conflict, left unaddressed, can grow in dangerous ways. Most importantly, the focus must remain on the lives lost, Shanann and her children, and the love they brought into the world. Their memory deserves more space than the man who took it from them. The illusion is gone now. What remains are lessons about awareness, communication, and the importance of recognizing emotional change before it becomes something irreversible. Thank you for following this series. If this story gave you insight, reflection, or perspective, please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth true crime breakdowns.